throws for the end zone. Touchdown. On Hooker. Picked off by Xavier Howard. Tagovailoa trying to make up for it. Fires to the end zone. Touchdown. That hard work.
What's good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason. We are back here for another one, and Bobby McCain has officially been released, or told he will be released today by the Miami Dolphins. It's something that if you have been paying attention at all to the Miami Dolphins, you knew this was coming. I always talk about when these guys get released that he's not a flow guy, right? This isn't someone that Flores went up there and he brought in himself. This is a player that he's been around. The contract that he's on, he gained from playing in the slot. He did not get it from playing safety. He was converted to safety, and shout out to him, because last year for sure in training camp, he basically ended Kalen Ballage's career with the Miami Dolphins. There's no doubt about that. But in terms of the player himself, he performed above and beyond most people's expectations last year. Heading into the season, I don't think a lot of us really had high hopes for him. But, you saw how impactful he was for the team when he went down and a guy like Clayton Fledglam had to step in and take over, right? It wasn't a good look at all. But Bobby McCain is now officially told that he's been released by the Miami Dolphins. The writing was kind of on the wall when they went out and drafted a guy like Jevon Holland. And then just after the draft, they go out and they bring in Malik Hooker for a visit, and they entertain him for a visit. A lot of us were scratching our head like, why is safety all of a sudden such a dire need? Well, now we know why. It's because Bobby McCain wasn't seen as part of the future plans of this team moving forward. And you know what? As much as Flores comes from the cut of converting corners to safety, I like a natural safety back there in the single high role. I just don't think Bobby McCain, overall, his game was good enough for him to be a long-term solution. He was clearly a stopgap filler. What's crazy, though, is, they had their chance last year to fill that hole with a guy like Antoine Winfield, but they passed it up to see what they would have in a guy like Bobby McCain, and they took Noah Igbenogany instead. I get it, but at the end of the day, now we're sitting here, and this team, what's crazy is, especially, after the draft, one thing we were talking about with this team was the depth that they had all of a sudden created at the safety position. And now that's gone, right? So now it's a matter of it's Bobby McCain. And, I got to ask people this. Why is everyone so hung up on losing this guy? I saw a couple of you guys coming in here when I started the stream. You guys seemed a little bit bothered that he was gone, or I saw someone said I miss him already. What do we miss about him? You know what I mean? Like, he was an all right slot guy, but he was an above average safety. Like, this guy was not a game changer. This guy was not a game breaker. He didn't create a ton of turnovers for us. I don't understand what the loyalty to Bobby McCain is. So, and Rome Gray makes a good point there. I just saw, if we're going to go bring in a guy like Malik Hooker, you better get another safety. And the reason with that is, what if Malik Hooker can't stay healthy? Now, what is the plan right now for Javon Holland? I'm going to get into some of the specifics here in a second. But what is the plan for Javon Holland? Are they moving him to that single high? Is Eric Rowe next? Could a guy like Jakeem Grant be next? Nick, he's been with us for a while and he's a captain. I mean, sure, but he wasn't an impact player. You know what I mean? This is why I always tell people, unless the talent is generational, unless the talent is, to the point where you can't talk about the Dolphins without mentioning that player, the loyalty is the logo for me. It's not towards a guy like Bobby McCain. It's just, here's my thing. There's tons of Bobby McCains out there. You know what I mean? It's not like this is a rare talent that how are we going to replace? And I get that people have a little bit of an issue with a rookie being handed those responsibilities, but you know what I mean? I get that. But Jermaine nailed it right there. Brandon Jones and Jevon Holland are the future of the secondary. Brandon Jones is eventually going to be Rowe's replacement. Now, Javon Holland, in Oregon, he played the single high. He played strong safety. A lot of his snaps are actually in the box. He played slot corner. He played the boundary. He played everywhere. So, you got to understand, maybe they just believe in him and what they have with Jevon Holland. Because remember, they wanted Minkah Fitzpatrick to be that Swiss Army knife in this secondary. Well, now with a guy like Javon Holland, they can fill that role. I mean, and who's to say this? Shout out to the homie EM. Who's to say they're not going to throw Nick Needham back there and give Nick Needham a workout because of all the cluster they got at the slot right now? Bringing in Coleman, trying to get Noah Igbenogany snaps. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't hate on Bobby McCain. Like, the guy went out there and busted his ass. And, year 2 into the conversion of safety, he looked a whole hell of a lot better than he did in year 1. But it's just an above average player we're losing. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to be sitting here and, with my heart hurting and crying some tears over a guy like Bobby McCain. You know what I mean? Because there's a bunch of Bobby McCains out there, guys. You got to look at it that way. So, and I get, he's been around for a while and people want to, get tied to the player, but this is why they say, root for the logo on the front. Don't root for the name on the back, unless you're like a Marino or a Ricky Williams or someone of that nature, right? So it is what it is. And here's the other thing. We all knew it was coming. Like, it's not like people didn't know this was coming, right? Like, the writing was pretty much on the wall that they were looking to upgrade that position specifically. So, hey, the smiles of Bobby McCain will no longer take place with the Miami Dolphins. But all right, let's get into everything here that I got that I want to go over. So, it all started a couple hours ago at about 9:56 in the morning a.m. Eastern. The Dolphins have informed team captain and starting safety Bob McCain that they are releasing him today per source. And, you know, you got to ask, are they going to make it a June 1st designation? That's interesting. So, I mean, is it going to be as effective as today? Are they going to say, okay, thanks for your tenure here, go out, you can go find a new place, go knock yourself out? Or are they going to make him sit on his ass till June 1st? So we'll see how that goes. Obviously, more news is going to trickle in as that kind of stuff goes over. Now, this is what Cameron Wolf said. Cameron Wolf said the writing was in red ink on the wall when the Dolphins drafted Javon Holland in the second round. Brian Flores sees Holland as having QB as a defense potential. So basically, the quarterback of that defense, because he has a really high aptitude, right? And Cameron Wolf says you can pencil him in as a starting free safety to replace Bobby McCain. So, I mean, Cam Wolf's pretty locked in. Cam Wolf, he knows what's going on pretty well over in that organization. So if he's getting the sense that they're going to be moving Javon Holland to free safety, that's probably what they're going to be doing with him. So looks like the idea right now is Javon Holland will be the starting free safety. And now, in terms of cap savings, this is what the deal is right now. Bobby McCain had the 7th highest salary cap number on the Dolphins at $7.18 million. The Dolphins save $5.6 million with this move. The Dolphins' dead cap money goes up another $1.4 million, though. Team will be carrying at least $16.9 in dead cap, which would be 11th highest in the NFL. Now, that $5.6 million that we save on getting rid of Bobby McCain, guys, that allows us to basically pay for our rookie class. That is your rookie class money. So, and I know everyone in the chat right now, they're just giving Jakeem Grant hell. I mean, hey, I got no problem with that. Y'all don't know where I stand with Jakeem Grant. I think the guy, useless, right? But the key little point here, though, here is a little key point. The time to cut Jakeem Grant is you have to make sure it's a post June 1st cut. Because if you cut him post June 1st, that adds an extra $1.2 million to the release of him, and you'll save about $4 million if you cut him post June 1st. So, I don't know. Your guys, pardon me, your guys' guess is best as mine. Is what they're planning here, because if you're bringing in Malik Hooker, he's starting at free safety. So I don't know. Your guess is good as mine. I'm gonna start dropping the link with some of y'all. If you're in the comments and you want to come up here and discuss the Bobby McCain release, there's the link. Yeah, the writing was on the wall. EJ says, why wouldn't we trade McCain? There really might not have been very many takers at his cap hit, bro. Not a lot of people want to pay probably Bobby McCain $7.18 million. I mean, the guy's a glorified slot player playing at safety. You know what I mean? So that's probably exactly why They didn't pay him. Sorry, or they weren't able to trade him. What's going on, Martin? What's going on, Esteban?
There's no reason.
So, what are you thinking, bro? Is Javon Holland the move at
It
safe right now?
it is. Brian Flores mentioned it after the pick was completed in his brief press conference about Jevon Holland and what he plans to do with him. He did mention obviously giving him you know as much amount of reps as possible and opportunities as possible to take over that position. He didn't say it outright, but he was just dropping little clues and things like that about how he needs to whether it be catching up with the play calling in the the back four and just explaining, hey, we're going to give him those opportunities to do that. So I just took that as a in your window, I guess. Yeah, that means Bobby McCain could very well be released. So it happened, and it honestly, man, we knew it was gonna happen. This was the same. It had that feeling of you knew your uncle was in the hospital, but you didn't know how serious it was, and then it comes out unc just passed away. If it feels like my uncle just passed away, man, I can't lie. I like Bobby, man. I like his leadership, bro.
Like, are you surprised they just didn't move him back to the slot instead of bringing in a guy like Coleman,
Uh,
or do you think it was the cap hit?
I believe if they were planning on trying to do that, you have to think to yourself, is he good enough to even start at slot compared to the guys we have on the roster right now? Justin Coleman was literally signed here to compete for the starting slot position because that's more of his natural position, which is Bobby McCain's position as well. And I think that they just thought it was just more beneficial cap wise and talent wise to keep it with Colvin and just move on from McCain. So yeah, I think it was a tough cut, but this is a business in Chris Greer's mind. So it was a better business move than anything else.
And do you think it's because, again, this isn't a flow pick,
True.
right? Like,
Yeah.
so it's probably easy for him to just say, you know what, goodbye.
Yeah, it's not a Brian Flores selection, but he fell in with Brian Flores protocol because remember, Brian Flores is having a clean sweep of guys that just didn't fit his idea, his vision. And Bobby McCain was one of those rare players that got in line, didn't complain much about what his duties were going to be, and he did what he was supposed to do. But at the end of the day, Brian Flores made his pick, which was Jevon Holland. Clearly an upgrade as far as talent and ability. But I suppose the only thing that's probably going to be missing is the clear cut, who's the alpha at safety and with the defensive backs. As much as we want to say it's Xavier Howard or Byron Jones, they're more introverted than a Bobby McCain that was very very vocal, whether it be during timeouts, huddles, and things like that. Bobby McCain was the voice of the secondary, so we're gonna see who picks it up. But Javon Holland is vocal too.
Mhm.
He comes with his own energy, his own unique approach and leadership. So it's gonna be interesting to see how it transitions into him being a starter.
Are you worried about the learning curve now because he's just going to be thrown to the fire?
Not quite. His from obviously from the reports, but his propensity to take on information, regurgitated repetitions as far as the actual physical movements of what he's been told to do. I heard his aptitude is extremely high, for his position. So I'm more so of the idea of he's going to be no different than when Ed Reed came into the NFL or Sean Taylor. I'm just reeling off safeties that started early because they had a high football IQ coming out of college. So I believe Jevon Holland is the same thing. If he catches on early, if he gets terminology down in camp early, he should be the starter, and he should make some noise early.
Mm. Next year we've already got about $40 million in cap space, and we could carve out about another $70 million in cap. And I'll go over Jackson's article here. Do you think it was just a matter of, you're getting paid way too much?
Potentially, yeah.
7.18 million for what we were asking him to do and what we were getting production wise from him. That might have been one of the issues, right?
I believe so. And I don't know if they could have even came to him and asked for like a pay cut or something of that nature. I think they just thought it was just it made more sense just to, wash their hands from his contract and, his position on the team. They just felt it was best to move on and just look forward to, the new acquisitions that we just got on the roster. So I just think it was just that smart business move to make to continue to build this defense. So.
Because here's what Barry put out yesterday. He said, as the Miami Dolphins continue down this course that places a premium on future draft picks and flexibility, here's the good news. Because of the way contracts are structured and because of their restraint in 2021 free agency, they could have at least $40 million in cap space next spring and could carve out more than $70 million in cap space if they choose. The question is whether they will trust themselves enough to use it on pricey free agents. The Dolphins believe they made multiple mistakes during their 2020 free agent spending spree, evidenced by the release of Tagovailoa and Jordan Howard, their trade of Shaq Lawson, and the dumping of Eric Flowers for a negligible return. Those Van Noy, Lawson, and Flowers decisions left the Dolphins with $14.9 million in dead cap, which is now up over. Now it's like 16.3 with the Bobby McCain. And though no team would ever admit such a thing, my suspicion is that made them gun shy about spending big in free agency this year. It's not a coincidence that the Dolphins didn't give multi-year deal to any 2021 free agent except Adam Butler and Stephen Carter. And not only are the 2022 salaries modest for Butler, $3.4 million, and Carter, $2.3 million, but neither is guaranteed, and neither would carry a dead money cap hit if they're cut. So the Dolphins, after an unfortunate experience in 2020 free agency, have protected themselves to the point that not a single player signed this season will be owed a dime or have any dead money charge after the 2021 season if the Dolphins decide to move on from them all. It's uncertain what the what the 2022 cap will be, but Peter King said it'll likely be less than the 2019 cap figure of $198 million. So Barry says, let's say it's $195 million. The Dolphins, once they sign their 2021 draft picks, will have $152.88 million in cap commitments for 2022. That would leave about $42 million in 2022 cap space if the cap is around $195 million. But if they decide to move on from Bernard McKinney after the 2021 season, that would free up another $9.5 million in cap space for 2022. Moving on from Bobby McCain right here, after the 2021 season, frees up another $7 million. So we're actually, with the Bobby McCain move, we have about $49 million in cap space as it sits right now. Moving on from Eric Rowe would save another $4.55 million. There would be another $3.7 million savings if Miami cut Jakeem Grant, and 3.2 for Alan Hearns, 2.8 for Fledglum. The Dolphins have signaled they are intending to keep around all of their veteran receivers for now, but eventually they'll need to trim the group from 13 to 6 or 7. The 2022 dead money on any of those would be nothing or minimal. So if Miami moved on from 6 players after 2021, that's another $30 million in cap savings, leaving Miami at $72 million in 2022 cap space with a $195 million cap. But here's the big question. Will the Dolphins trust themselves again to spend big in free agency when it's clear they believe they botched 2020 free agency? It goes on to say, how Jordan Howard was really the only bust of the group when you actually go down.
Yeah.
But he says if you're wondering what the cap savings would be next March for moving on from Byron Jones, Devontae Parker, or heaven forbid Xavier Howard, here's what you need to know about that. Jones is due $14.4 million in base salary in 2022, with $6 million of that guaranteed and $16.5 million cap number. The Dolphins cut him next spring. They would be $12.3 million in dead cap and $4.2 million in cap savings. So that's not happening. Parker is due $5.7 million in his base salary in 2022, with none guaranteed and an $8.9 million cap number. If the Dolphins cut him next spring, there would be $5.4 million in dead money and a $3.6 million in cap savings. Howard is due $12.4 million in his base salary in 2022, with none guaranteed and a $14.4 million cap number. If the Dolphins cut him next spring, there would be $2.8 million in dead money and $11.6 million in cap savings. Now, obviously, it goes on to say with Howard, it would be ridiculous to release him if he plays at an elite level again in 2021, regardless of cap savings, right? And I agree with that. But it just goes on about the draft here. It says, we'll have the 49ers first round pick, their own pick in the second round, the 49ers third round pick, 2 picks in the fourth. We have our own in the fifth and the sixth, and we have the Titans in the seventh. So my question here is Eric Rowe next? Because of Brandon Jones?
Esteban, you want to answer that one?
Yeah, man. I don't know, man. I don't think that'd be a good idea. I think you got to keep somebody on reserve that can come in and automatically just. It's better to have one of those guys on the team and not need them than need them and not have them. You know what I mean? I would hope that they wouldn't. At least in my opinion, But I mean, if it's for financial reasons, these guys, we just gotta hope these guys stay healthy. That's where I'm at. Last year when McCain went out and we had to rely on pendulum, I forgot what game that was. I think we were all kind of essing on ourselves.
The Chiefs.
Yeah. So this is a ballsy move for Flores to do this, but it magnifies that pick. It justifies it a little bit. I think if enough people, knew the draft and the way it was going, the reason why a lot of people were upset with that pick, and initially I was puzzled by it, was because there was a lot of safeties, in this draft, and I think a lot of people felt that you could have addressed that at 50 if that's what you really wanted to do. But I mean, if they really liked him and he was the player that they had their eyes on, then it justifies what they're doing today, releasing McCain, and you can't be too timid and scared on making these decisions, because look what happened with Tampa last year. Their front seven is pretty good, and look at how Winfield excelled. He played in the Super Bowl, so there's this there's a narrative out there that some people believe that these rookies aren't going to be able to be plug and play in. I just don't think that that's the case when you build up the team right, and I'd hope that that's the direction of the team. So that's my take.
How's it going, Tyler? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right.
What's up, Ty?
Keep my stress level low.
Why? Because of all the Aaron Rodgers stuff?
That and just me and one other guy. I don't know if you've been seeing what I've been tweeting just a few minutes ago. This Dolphins fan, and obviously, but me and this dude, I wouldn't say we double teaming the guy, but listen, I'm not saying Trevor Lawrence is not going to be a good quarterback. I never said that. I just don't see him as generational as everybody else does. And that's okay. Just an opinion based on what I've seen. I just don't. And, we keep asking this guy to tell us what Trevor does better than Tua. He has yet to answer that question. He keeps going back to him being more healthy, him being bigger, having a bigger arm.
Okay.
I said that's not talents. So that's not. That's not. I said you're. I said that's not a talent. Now, accuracy, footwork in the pocket, being able to manipulate safeties or defense with your eyes, decision making, processing. I said that's. I said Tua showed that he did that a ton in college, and he did some of that, show flashes of that in the NFL. I said so. I said the only thing you're saying is he healthy. I said if you want to go that route, Tua never caught COVID.
To his immunity system. Now you're arguing his immunity system.
I mean, like, come on. I said, okay, bigger. All right. I said, some dudes are bigger but can't hit the right side of a damn barn. Like, come on. Jamarcus Russell would still be in the league if that's the case. Jay Cutler, fucking Ryan Leaf. Like, what the hell? I said, Kyle Murray, short as fuck, but can freaking play. Tua beat him in just his second start. I said, size I don't care about size. I don't.
Yeah.
So him trying to use that, I said, so I told him, like, you still dancing around the question. So either they do the same things or you just simply can't name one more thing that Trevor does better than Tua.
Right. And Tyler, the reality is that the reason why people are throwing out the generational tag on Trevor Lawrence is because, you know, he was good in college, and, you know, not to offend anybody, but he's white. And
bro, like,
they love the narrative of the great white hope. Andrew Luck was actually
that's my nickname for
last,
him,
bro. I'm just saying. Andrew Luck was the last generational quarterback.
I know what this is. I said I know what this is. I don't want to start no conversation, but come on.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what's crazy? Like, I can actually make the argument. I can make the argument he regressed every year.
Bro, like,
say that again. Say that again.
I keep saying what I'm saying. I don't see generational talent like everybody else does. I'm not saying he gonna be trash, and that's why I told him dude on Twitter. I said, and this ain't even me saying Trevor is trash. I never said he was trash. I said, but generational, I don't see that. I have watched this dude at Clemson constantly play down to competition. Constantly. I said, Tua with 3 offensive coordinators progressed better each year with 3 different coordinators, and this how you know people lose the argument because they go back to having a bad hip or being a system quarterback, not knowing he played for 3 offensive coordinators: Dayball, Loxley, Sarkisian.
Keep the receipts.
What we not gonna do is I'm telling you, bro. Like, okay, look, I ain't good with all the feminazes like reason. I wish, because then I could really tear in the dudes. But like, bro, come on, man. I ain't stupid, man. You can't. I play basketball, but I love football more.
Yeah,
I'm just entertained by the sport. I love playing. I love watching football. Used to play with dudes all the time. Couldn't tell me shit. But but it's like you can't, like, it's like all the excuses. Dudes over exaggerating how many times Fitz came in for Tua. Come on, man. Talking about and one dude said and one person said Tua's a bust until someone better than Chan came in. But I'm like, I'm constantly listening to his stats. Solid, like all the stats. Y'all seen the stats I put on Twitter. Reason you seen him, he did all that despite Chan calling shitty ass plays. Like, what more do you want? And I'm ignoring the Aaron Rodgers stuff. Like, I'm not even finna get into that. It is what it is at this point.
It's a story.
It's
a story. That's all.
I'll be honest. I don't even know what's going on with that. I just know that I know Reason I hadn't even caught that stream yet, but because I went to bed.
Rodgers is basically
I don't know what's going on with that.
He feels disrespected by Green Bay, and I get it.
Yeah, he is
I
disrespected.
He constantly asking them to build
get a wide
him,
receiver, and they get a cornerback.
Yeah, so he could take them further in the playoffs, and they refuse to do it for some strange reason. Yeah. And so that's why I always said Aaron Rodgers is the best one of the most naturally gifted throwers, but yet you got him constantly asking for help. So when people try to use that to use quarterbacks having talent around them as a way to discredit them, it's stupid and lazy to me.
Right. Good point, Tyler.
Same with Patrick Mahomes.
Good point, Tyler.
Just like that, they rebuilt that offensive line for him.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't do nothing in the Super Bowl.
And they had like $400 in cap space.
Like, come on.
Like ridiculous.
The best QBs still need talent around them to be successful. Tom Brady didn't leave just because of Belichick.
Yeah.
Why did he leave?
Yeah.
No talent.
Come on.
Go get keep going in, Tyler. Keep going in. You on fire.
Why did he leave New England? He got tired of playing with subpar talent.
Yeah.
Cam Newton can run and throw. Never was an accurate passer. I've always said that. Never was an accurate passer. Went to the Super Bowl one time in his career.
Hella talent, but
he still, even a person like him, still needs talent. Kyler Murray, same thing. Already had great talent. What did they do? Went and get DeAndre Hopkins. So, like, a quarterback position is a dependable position. They need everyone to do their job so they can do their job. Right.
That's absolutely correct.
So people trying to give Tua crap. I said, dude, damn near sick. Like, come on. And with the stats he have now, he could have overseen all of that if he played the entire season. He would have more than 14 total touchdowns this season.
Oh, yeah.
That's just in 9 games.
Barely played all of them.
Can I add something to that? I'll be arguing with people on Twitter. This man had a major surgery on his hip. Not no scar or stitches, a major surgery on his hip. No training camp. He had a preseason training camp. It wasn't like it normally is every year. What rookie quarterback, would have did that and played the way he played? Yeah, he had flaws, but you got to expect that with no training camp. With COVID going on, and he couldn't go work with his wide receivers like he really wanted to. And the line was suspect, and he still did good. I'm not saying he didn't have bad moments. A rookie's going to have that. But they acting like he had the perfect situation coming in. He wasn't injured. That hip surgery plays a big factor in a quarterback's throwing motion. He wasn't 100%.
Absolutely.
And he came back less than a year. Man, that man got dog in him. I don't care what nobody say. I'm rooting for Tua till he show me otherwise. I don't care about nobody say on talent, none of that. If you watch the game of Alabama, he hitting Waddle, Smith in stride. Mac Jones wasn't doing that.
Waddle had
not the way Tua was doing it on the
shame Mac Jones, because I love all my Bama players. I do. I do believe Mac Jones.
Call a spade though, Tyler.
Yeah. I'm about to go there. But with Waddle, if you watch the highlights between Tua and Mac, Waddle didn't never have to like slow down or you know what I'm saying, for a football. He did that a lot with Mac. And so and it's like if you watch him in college, it's funny because in 2018 in college, people criticize Tua for throwing the deep ball too much. Reason though. Reason they criticize for throwing the deep ball too much. Then the next year, when he was just killing everybody with slants and RPOs and intermediate throws, now he can't throw the deep ball.
You can't satisfy people, man. You can't do it.
And I really believe, I just believe, Chan was really the reason, he was held back so much because.
Oh yeah.
I just really believe that. I mean, it's been so many times. I said, you got somebody who can rip it and still protect the football.
I'm a double down because I got to go pretty soon. But what my man right here on the left just highlighted, which is so important to why it's insane for people to jump off the Tua train so quick. That hip injury that was a posterior fracture, meaning the hip bone literally exploded out. The bone that connects his leg to his hip exploded out of the socket, right?
Mm-hmm.
For you to recover from that type of injury
and play less than
and
365 days later.
I mean, who was questioning this kid's toughness, his desire, his yearning to play football, his yearning to be great? Whoever is questioning that really has to question themselves, because can you imagine
Bro,
if you would have broken a finger? Like, I'm talking about.
Did you hear Joy yesterday?
I don't even want to know.
Joy Taylor.
Joy Taylor said she wants to give Trevor Lawrence 3 years in Jacksonville.
Kerryon Johnson said the same thing.
Yeah, they want to give everybody
Because
more
he
time,
white.
but Tua.
Yo, you know what it
Yeah.
is? I'm gonna
he
show
white.
y'all
That
what
kills
it is.
me.
I got an image to show y'all exactly what it is right now. Okay.
She had a Chargers.
This
jersey on.
is exactly what we're at. This is where we're at right now.
Yes, facts.
Oh man.
Like, I'm just saying, bro.
Now,
Darnold gets all this time in the world.
Right.
Everyone wants to make every excuse for Sam Darnold when, let's be honest with ourselves, Tua had a better rookie season than Sam Darnold's rookie season.
Yes, he did.
So what I don't know. He showed you more coming off that devastating of an injury. He wasn't in football shape. He didn't trust his offensive line because they were shit. If you watched him at Alabama, I always bring this up. This is the one key factor that should show where he was at mentally. He was known for his movement, his mobility, and his awareness in the pocket. His ability to climb. He started bailing every time he felt pressure on either side, even if he felt it, not if it came. If he felt it, he was gone by the end of the season. And that's because the offensive line was shit.
Right.
Very
uncharacteristic of Tua to be doing that too.
He still avoided a ton of sacks.
He did.
Of them.
Mm-hmm.
And no one talks about that.
No
one gives him credit for that either. The amount of sacks he avoided.
Right. And I don't think nobody
said that he actually makes it look easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he does.
Right.
Nobody is also giving him credit for that.
That's a damn good point right there.
That Kansas City Chiefs game. I literally thought, because before the game started, it looked like wide receivers was just dropping like flies.
True.
Like wide receivers just getting injured to the point where he was playing with practice squad wide receivers and walked in within 6 points of beating them.
Yeah.
But no one wants to talk about that except you hear, oh, Justin Herbert almost beat the Chiefs.
Right. Say that again.
But all we can talk about is, all people want to bring up is Tua being benched.
I mean,
in 2 games.
But again, I think what we have to do now is play the patience game. Allow the training camps to turn up. Allow the players to come in. Allow them to create their cohesion. Allow them to learn each other's strengths and weaknesses, and then go out on the field and start balling. Because believe it, Tua is taking notes. He has a whole list ready of teams and players and people that have doubted him. And I'm gonna tell you right now, he's going in this year.
Tua brushes it off, but he hears it just like we hear it. So I'm while everybody talking, he been working. That's how
it's not only that, but this year he's in the weight room. Last year he couldn't really get in the weight room. A lot of gyms were closed, or a lot of places you couldn't go to work out. So now he in there like he could, because he didn't have to rehab this year. So he focused on his muscle.
Trying to make it seem like, especially Joy tried to say one time, like all the rookie QBs had the same all season. No, they didn't.
Right.
No.
He had to rehab.
Right.
Well, I brought this up, right?
Right.
Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, got to remember, like, they were training with like Jordan Palmer and all of these guys, while Tua was out here trying to get his body right enough to hit the field again.
Right.
Yeah. And then he didn't even play with the first team.
No,
that's true.
He was playing with the third stringers in training
because
camp,
the plan was not to play him.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, so when you watch Brian Flores' press conference before the draft, he even admitted that they threw him into the fire early.
Yeah.
So it's
Because
like
of what he showed in practice.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. Reason has all the insight of what went on in training camp, and my thing is they wouldn't have played him in the middle of the season if they didn't like what they saw in practice.
I think we're all gonna look back on this 2020 season and what Tua did. I think we're gonna look back on it and be like, how in the hell did this kid even play that year? You know what I mean? Like that's what we're really gonna be asking each other at the end of the day.
The timing. I mean, you had people saying he might slip because of it. I think it was just he really wanted to prove that, I will be able to play.
This is a good point. This is a good point by Reggie. He says, honestly, I think we saw Tua's floor.
Right.
And that floor was efficient as hell, bro. Like,
right.
You know what? Like, that's a really good point, Reggie. Here's my whole issue, too, is this is when I knew we were going up that creek. When everyone expected him to be a world beater in training camp, and the guy's like 9-10 months removed from the injury. I'm like, what? Like, you were literally told by people that this was a traumatic injury, like that that they usually only see in car accidents. And another thing no one ever factored in was the mental, what that injury would do to you mentally, man. Like your whole your body, you got to get it right. Then your body has to realign with your mind, and no one even went that deep into it. No. Everyone just automatically assumed, oh, he's an athlete. Boom, like throw some deer antler spray on him, like his name's Ray Lewis, and throw him back out there. You know what I mean? Like,
right?
It was just unrealistic expectations, and what I'm sitting here and you saw. Listen. Tyler's a Bama fan. I'm a film junkie. So I've seen every snap he took at Alabama. Thanks. You saw stuff that you didn't see at Alabama, and you could, if you were smart enough or just, use some logic and some, I guess, pun intended, reason, you would see his body's affecting, I always bring this up. I think was it that Raiders game? It was one of those games where Gesicki ran an out route and Tua just underthrew him and at his feet, and I had never seen that Tua one time at Alabama, and it was clearly because of his ability to step into the football wasn't where it was supposed to be because his body wasn't at the level it was at Bama. Tyler's the perfect, she'll tell you because she looks at. I'm sure she looked at pictures without his shirt on all the time at Bama. but if you go look at his IG at the end of the season when he had that little party, that pool party, buddy, he looked like he had baby fat up top. And if you go back and you look at him at Bama, that guy was ripped, bro. Like he was jacked. He played at 218 at Bama. This year he was only playing at about 210. Now he looks like he's up to about 221, 222.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he wasn't even at his playing weight.
You can tell, some of the pictures, all the focus was on his lower extremities, and Tua always had big legs, always.
Right.
So I kind of figured, he probably think in order for me to get back to where I am or where I could possibly be somewhat, all the focus has to be on my lower legs because that was a major. And as far as the mental aspect, I have 4 ACL tears in total, 4 ACLs.
Wow.
In total.
Damn, Tyler.
Jesus.
Playing basketball.
You used to dunk?
No.
It's I was gonna say you gotta come.
I just I mean, I was
Bad
good.
Luck.
I was very athletic. I remember each one, but I tried to come back. But as far as, and I did, but the mental trauma for it never left.
Never
left.
Tough.
Did you worry? Did you worry about cutting and stuff like that?
Yes. It doesn't just leave your your mind right away. It takes
muscle memory. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes time to put the injury on the back burner.
Yeah. Yeah.
So imagine playing football and trying to play as loose as you can and trying to play as carefree as you can and not think about the possibility of hurting your hip again. This is a contact sport.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just glad too it's a Samoan because that's a warrior tribe, bro.
Yeah.
I already know he's gonna go in there, no fear. If you're gonna mess up my hip again, you're gonna mess it up with me throwing a touchdown. That's Tua's mentality, man.
Oh,
And
Kyler Murray. I know what Kyler Murray think about Tua. Hell, shit.
Yeah, he I think he's got a little bit of a vendetta against.
Right, he's envious, dog.
Yeah,
it's
bro.
weird.
Yeah.
But
It's
yo, here's
weird.
another thing. Like, no one in the media wants to talk about Kurt Warner's film breakdown. Dan Orlovsky broke down film, which was what hurt me when he put up that Rodgers trade. You know, he backed up Tua. But no one talks about what Patrick Mahomes said at the end of that Chiefs game. Patrick Mahomes said, I wish I was as efficient with the football as Tua is as a rookie.
Right.
Like, that's a guy who he's been to back-to-back Super Bowls, MVP, never finished less than the AFC Championship appearance as a starter.
True.
That's the cream of the crop right now.
And I keep telling people, like, it's a reason why they went for it on 4th down in that game. Because if they gave it back,
Tua might have done it. Yeah, Tua might have done it. Yeah. Yeah.
Tua was seeing red. Like, he really wanted to beat Patrick Mahomes. He wanted to beat him. You could tell his face by the end of the game. He wanted to beat him, man. He was like, I was so close.
He says, you might know this better than me. What was Kyler Murray's percentage his rookie season?
60.
What do you mean? His completion percentage?
Yeah, completion percentage.
Like 60 something?
Yeah,
I think it was like 61 or something.
60. Yeah, it was low 60s.
And what was Tua's?
64.
4?
Yeah, 64.
Yeah, I said nobody talks about Kyler Murray. He had full seasons, and he still hasn't won anything.
And not only that, he got a whole offense tailored to his skills, bro.
Exactly.
Tua was inheriting Ryan Fitzpatrick's offense, and we seen how that worked out with Chan Gailey, man. Like, look, before I go, a lot of people need to understand we're good right now. We're in a good spot. They've literally lined everything up. They've lined everything up for Tua to come in this year and just have one of those highly efficient seasons where there's not going to be a question after this season who's going to be the starting quarterback from years to come in Miami. And so I'm just ready. We're going to keep coming in with these updates, safeties. Bobby McCain released, and other things like hopefully Malik Hooker signs with us. We're gonna keep an eye on it, but I'm telling you, man, when this season starts and Tua takes that first snap, everybody got to buckle up, man, because it's gonna get real.
I mean,
it's on deep on the first play.
I guess what upsets me about Chan is that he showed he can do it. He can make it work with Tua. I guess that's what's upsetting the most. You showed you can make you proved that you can make it work with Tua. You just refused to. And so I guess that's what's upsetting the most.
If you were to extrapolate Tua's numbers over a 16-game start, the chart is what you would get right now that you're seeing.
65.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said if he played all 60 games, he would over exceed what his stats are currently. He will over.
It's all good. It's all good.
I'm straight. I said regardless, he gonna be. I said too, gonna be straight regardless. Now that he got a full off season, like everybody talking, he been working.
Absolutely.
That's usually the best revenge. So
put a pin in it. Yeah, put your head down and keep working.
I really think the reason Chris and Flo probably haven't pulled the trigger on trading for a quarterback for Tua is because they probably see it too. Like, damn, if he balls somewhere else.
Yeah,
it'll be like another 10-year situation. Like,
we just got to be patient. That's all.
That's it. And I really believe you're gonna see a significant leap in year 2. Like, it's all because he just didn't have the chance to prepare. People just have to be more patient. And as I said, I would love to be on a sports show and debate people like Colin or Joy or anybody, because it's like, I understand that's your job, but it's like I
You gotta
probably
use
be
logic.
on these shows. I'll probably slap one of them because it's like
you would,
I probably would.
but
I'm gonna go. I got a plumbing issue I need to take care of, but I'll keep listening. I'll see y'all later.
yeah, I gotta take off too. I'm
All right.
I'm still listen in. No reason.
Yeah, man, no doubt. Take it easy, everyone.
All right, big bro.
Have a good one. You still there, Esteban?
Yeah, that's crazy. I was about to drop out, but I ain't gonna leave you here.
No,
by
you
yourself.
can. You can. That's fine, bro.
No, it's all good, man. I was gonna say, a lot of the stuff that Tyler was mentioning is it's all factual, but the other side of the fan base that is impatient, they kind of see that as excuses. But this year, it's put up or shut up time, so I'm excited for it, man. I can't wait to see, what he's gonna do. We got in the first 3 rounds 3 guys that are gonna surround him and play around him this year. So you got a wide receiver that's gonna take the top off. You got him a lineman and a tight end. He's an all around tight end. He's not like Gesicki. So then you got a man on my profile picture. You got Dokes. I watched some of his film, man. I'm interested to see what you're gonna pull out of that all 22 with him, because I watched the UCF game and he does like to block. I from what I can see, even in a broadcast, that's there's certain times where he's not on the screen. That's what sucks about broadcast view. But
Yeah.
Out on pass plays, he's down the field blocking. He's always blocking for the quarterback being runs the ball. So that this guy, man, I hope he's an X factor. I hope you reap what you sow. The Broncos apparently jumped ahead of us, and we're getting congratulated. Next thing you know, Jawan James is out like 2 days ago. So, you know what I mean? If Dokes ends up working out, man, I'm good, So,
You want to see something crazy, Esteban? Check this out. So they were talking about like Kyler Murray as a rookie and all these like comparisons and stuff like that. If you were to take Watson, Allen, Murray, and Tua, you look at their year 1 completion percentage, right? Look at the jump that everyone had in year 2. I mean, Watson went up 7%, Allen went up 6%, Murray went up 3%. The average increase in completion percentage from year 1 to year 2 was 5.1 points. If Tua increases by that amount, he would finish with a 69.2 completion percentage, which would have ranked him 4th in the NFL this past season. So the second year leap that this guy's going to take, a lot of people don't realize that if he takes it, it's going to be, that's damn near 70% of your passes completed. Like, I don't think people understand what Tua could be this year. And I want to get back to the main subject here of Bobby McCain being released. What's going on, Irving? How you doing? One of the things here that I wanted to show was Javon Holland. Now, the idea for Minka was they wanted him to be the Swiss Army knife in this defense, right? Well, when you put Jevon Holland, his profile, up against a guy like Minka Fitzpatrick, look at the eerie similarities you get. I mean, this is damn near the same player right here. So, the usage and what they're planning with Jevon Holland, it could be very similar to what they had planned or what they had in store for Minka Fitzpatrick. So, something to pay attention to here. I think
Fitzpatrick, if I'm not mistaken, he was drafted the year before by Gase. He was somebody that Gase could have used in his defense. You know what I mean? But he wasn't drafted by Flores. So no, you know what I mean? We kind of get that.
Yeah. So I mean, and Flores keeps going about how smart this kid is, and he's not wrong. So you add in the intelligence, you look at the athletic profile, And it's quite clear that, you know, the whole idea they had that Javon Holland might go off and he might be the Swiss Army knife of this defense. And what's crazy is, you know, I could see them using him in the box a little bit as that rover, you know, covering tight ends, because I think he's going to give you more at covering tight ends than what Eric Rowe is going to give you. I truly, truly do believe that. I think that's a lock. So, I mean, interesting stuff here. You know, I know you're a defensive guy, Esteban. What are your thoughts on Bobby McCain being cut?
I'll be honest. At first, my initial reaction was I was kind of hoping they were going to ease into that, because it wasn't like it was. It was some teams are in that situation because they don't, they put a rookie in that situation because they don't have a guy. But we had a guy, and I figured that we possibly would ease him into that role. But this guy's projected to be a first-round pick. So, I mean, like I said earlier, I feel like our front seven is pretty much locked in and has plenty of depth. And it makes it a lot easier, on safeties. So I believe that he's going to excel. You know what I mean? It'll take a couple of games, for him to look like an NFL safety possibly. But I think he's going to be a damn good player pretty much off the rip. So we're definitely playing into his strengths with that front seven. So I ain't even worried about it, to be honest. So we'll see. But I'm pretty confident, in Flores on that side of the ball. I don't question, what he can do and what he can improvise with what he has, as far as guys that are starters, guys that are depth pieces. My question marks are always going to be until he proves it. As much as I love Flores, the offensive side of the ball, that's where the execution needs to start happening, and the improvement that everybody wants to see for this team to take a leap. But this doesn't worry me. It doesn't frighten me. I feel content with the move. We have too many players. Yeah, we have depth. We have a lot of players. The financial part of the roster is just a part of the game, man. You know what I mean? There's no, at some point you got to get rid of guys, and it sucks because McCain, in my opinion, I feel like he took a leap for the team in a good way. He was dependable, and he sold out. There was, I can't even, I'm not good with mentioning what games it was, but whatever game that was when he basically sacrificed his body to make a tackle. He basically looked like he got knocked out and came back, I believe, the next possession. That just, he was a trooper. He was a warrior. He sold out for the overall scheme that Flores wanted him to execute in, and he did a damn good job for us this year. So I have no complaints about McCain this year, man. He did a damn good job, but you saw what Flores did with McCain. Why can't he do that with Holland? So I'm confident, man.
Do you think Eric Rowe's next up?
That's where I start kind of getting a little, my confidence dwindles a little bit, because I start thinking about if somebody's got to miss a game, I still feel that things aren't 100% back to normal. I know there's vaccines and stuff out there, but when you start, accounting for things that are just oddball, things that can happen, off the field issues, COVID had a lot to do with, guys missing games this year. So I believe everybody has to get vaccinated. I think it's what they're doing. So I don't really know a whole lot about that topic, to be honest. I believe that's what they're going to do. I don't know if they're going to make them all get vaccinated. But if there is an injury, that's where I would be kind of like, it'd be nice to have Bro there. You know what I mean? But we also have Nick Needham. I believe Nick Needham could do good as a safety as well, either or in the box or as a free safety. I think he sell a little bit more as a free safety. So,
Yeah,
that's
because
what
when
I'm
you
saying,
signed
man.
Coleman, weren't you wondering where does Needham fit in now?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing. That's why I'm okay with what's going on. I see that Flores, he knows, man. He knows the ins and outs of his defense and the way this thing's gonna run. I'm not worried about it, to be honest. I would like Rowe back though, but if it's for financial purposes, as long as I understand, if it happens, I understand. I'll be okay with it because I know that Flores is gonna, figure out a way to scheme around things and make.
Are you a Malik Hooker fan?
To be honest, man, I really don't know how he performed as a pro, man. Like, to be honest, I know he was decent in college, so I don't know exactly what happened with him in the pros, man. To be honest, I don't know a whole lot about this guy, but I believe he's going to get signed. Is what they're saying, right?
Well, yeah, he came and visited us. Like, I know you probably saw him in college, and he was an absolute monster in college, right? The problem just now is he hasn't been able to stay healthy.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Well,
because remember, he was a first-round pick. They decided not to pick up the fifth-year option.
Yeah, I mean, if you could keep him as a depth piece and he's get him on the cheap, he's sitting on the bench. For some reason you need to use him. His instincts are there. I don't see why not, man. You definitely need some kind of. You're going to go with Holland, and he's coming in pretty much healthy, 100%. But you never know, man. I don't know, man. The safety position. Unless we're going against like an elite QB, I'm not too worried about it. But I believe that was the KC game when McCain got knocked out, because I know we were playing against a pretty good quarterback.
Fledglum came in, and that's when Kelsey scored a touch. Was it Kelsey? It was Kelsey or someone. It was Kelsey or Tyreek Hill scored that touchdown, and Fledglum was like right there and didn't make the play.
It was Tyreek Hill.
I believe it was
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. That's right. They finally scored in the second half. We held them most of that game. McCain goes down, and then Hill scored. That is right. Yep.
Yeah,
and it had to be an elite. It had to be an elite QB to be able to expose that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. I'm not concerned, man. The more I think about it, if they got to let Rowe go, it is what it is, man. I think Brandon Jones, from what he did in college.
Yeah, because you watched him a lot, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, at some point, yeah, he did. He did a lot of what Rowe did in college, man. He was covering tight ends. So, why not? Why not just let the young guys take over? Right now is the best. Right now it's the best time to do it. We're set in our front seven as much as we could possibly be. Like, you know what I mean? It just doesn't. It could get a little bit better. If you were to, you could still upgrade Jerome Baker, but it is what it is. He's not that bad, but right now is the time to let these young guys in the secondary develop. So I don't see why not, man. If they got to let Rowe go, then it is what it is, man. We still got Needham. I believe Needham can play, 3-4 positions if we need him to. So it's good to have guys like that on the team, man. I'm not a big fan of letting guys like that go, like him and on the offensive side of the ball. Why is it leaving alone? The offensive swing tackle that we got, Jesse Davis. Guys like that. Yeah. Just their versatility. When Jesse Davis was in there, I wasn't panicking too much. He did well. So guys like that, guys like him, guys like Needham, you got to keep guys like that around, because they're cheap and, they're consistent. So as long as Jesse Davis ain't playing guard, I'm good, man.
Yeah, really. He was terrible on the interior, bro. Oh my God.
Yeah. Actually, this spells put up a shut up for, Noah, basically. It's kind of, puts him on notice just by definition, because all our cornerbacks got to really show up in our safeties.
What do you think about the release of Bobby McCain?
I actually kind of saw it coming in a way because I think on Larry's show, Rhino asked who would it be eventually replacing. Our draft pick Holland will be replacing, and I said most likely in the future is going to be McCain. And it so happened 2 days later, McCain's out the door. I'm like, man, I didn't expect it to be that quick. I thought it was going to be like maybe year 2, 2023. I didn't expect 2021, but I said it was going to be eventually be Bobby McCain who he's going to replace, but I didn't expect it to be this.
Yeah, the money you free up, right? We now have covered our draft class. We're good.
Yeah.
And if you want to bring in Malik Hooker on a cheap deal, 1-year deal, you can now. Right? So, he kind of gave us some flexibility. And, Crypto, are you one of those people that did you have a little bit of tie to Bobby McCain because of how long his tenure was with the team?
Somewhat, yeah. He had some good longevity, and he haven't really had how I am when it comes to criticizing the Dolphins and injuries and stuff like that. But but yeah, basically his ties to the team.
Yeah,
but Flo has always shown the impetus to really cut bait when he have to, versus trying to, he tried to do it in advance, and then he'll draft guys on the back end, and then that's when he makes his move.
Yeah, but don't you look at this as now he's trying, like, how many players, pre-Flores players, are still around right now?
Not pre-Flores, probably not that many now. Now I think about it. Let me see, 2019, right? The summer of 2019 when he came in.
Yeah, so the 2018 roster would be the last pre-Dolphins roster, right?
Yeah, the 2018 roster. So that coming into that preseason would have been the last of the Ireland regime.
So let's actually, if we look at this, like I'm about to look at it right now, about to bring up this roster and
maybe
see.
What about maybe some long snappers maybe still around. I don't know who's left.
Okay, so all the quarterbacks are obviously gone. All the running backs are gone. Jakeem Grant is still around. Albert Wilson, so that's 2. Jesse Davis, so we're at 3. All the defensive linemen are gone. Jerome Baker is still here. And Xavier Howard. And
that's right. X did come a little earlier. That's right. X
and Jason Sanders.
Okay. That's the only special team guy?
Yeah, Jason Sanders, the only special team guy still around. Because Matt Hawk's gone now, right?
Hawk, yep. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, the punter. And then one of the long snappers.
Yeah, so everyone's basically are Gesicki and Smythe, right? Were they there?
No, I don't think Smythe. I think Smythe came in right at the beginning.
Yeah, no, he was Gesicki and Smythe. So we got 8 players left.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Gesicki, who's coming up on his contract's about to end. Oh, and Devontae Parker. What am I saying too, right? So you got 9, right? Devontae Parker is in a prove-it year. He might be gone. Albert Wilson, 1-year deal. He might be gone after this year. Jakeem Grant, he might not even make it through training camp.
Yep.
Right? Like, if you actually sit back and take a look at this, Jesse Davis might be kept around for depth. X, we don't know what's going on with that whole situation. In 2 years, Jason Sanders might be the only guy still around.
He might be, yeah. Yeah, when you think about it, yeah. Jason Sanders might be it. He may be the long holdout.
Crazy, man. RD, what's going on, bro?
Hey, man. Speaking of guys that are still with the team from the previous regime, remember one of his early moves was re-signing Xavier Howard, like as soon as he came in, right?
Yeah.
And he loves his corners, but the people that he likes, he's gonna keep, like no matter what. Like he doesn't have a plan to get rid of everyone.
You think they re-signed Jerome Baker?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, man. Jerome Baker is not a natural inside linebacker, and he's more of a gadgety, like scheme fit. And I think you can find right, like, but I think he has other people. We'll see what happens this year, right? Remember, Jerome Baker got drafted pretty young, so he's developing into NFL caliber linebacker. But I mean, he's nothing like stats. Never watch stats. Always watch film, because stats are always misleading. That's how you make bad decisions off season after off season. So I'm not sold on Jerome Baker yet, but I do see that he's young, and his ability to learn off of guys like McKinney and Landon Roberts is still there to be because he's the best cover linebacker we got out of the inside linebackers, but he's also not the best tackler in the box compared to, and Landon Roberts and McKinney that we have right now, right? So,
were you shocked that the McCain move came this quick? Or
I mean, I like McCain. Like I like leadership roles. That McCain, I mean, he's been with the organization now, what, 6 years? Like he came in 2015, right?
Yeah, I think so.
With Devontae Parker, right? So, and I think Jakeem Grant came that year as well. So they're kind of like, I mean, they're fan favorites in the sense that they've been around the organization for 3 different regime changes. But again, Bobby McCain, it was never supposed to be a high safety, right? Like that's not his natural position, right? So they were always trying to make him fit there. Now Javon Holland's much better fit. The guy that they're looking at, Malik Hooker, is a better fit, right? And they're all ball hawks, right? So you don't want just Xavier Howard getting the intercept, because he can't possibly sustain that type of productivity. So obviously you want more depth as far as turnover capabilities, and I love it.
I just like, I saw someone today. I gotta ask you this. Someone labeled him an elite. Someone used the word elite slot. Did you ever view him as that?
Bobby, no, man, no. Honestly, like I always loved the guy, but no, man, he never stood. You know, the thing about it with Bobby was he never stood out, but you could also never blame him too much, right? So it was kind of like in that middle ground, but unfortunately, $7 million doesn't cut it for middle ground. Like it's a lot of money, and even if it's 1 year, but we kind of need that money this year because there's still holes to be. First of all, the draft class still needs to be signed. You need money from that. And I don't see this team restructuring anybody for the future to save cap space. Like they I don't know what happened from last year with that, the free agency window that they had, and they were signing everybody. They've done a complete 180 on that. I don't know if it's management or if it's ownership or if it's a collage of everybody, but their mindset has changed this year. They've been very restrictive in how much they're going to spend, right?
Yeah, that's I read an article earlier from Barry Jackson. He basically laid out that it's because they believe that they flopped. Well, they spent all that money and they flopped on a bunch of the guys they signed, and they're kind of setting up for next year. They have $49 million in cap space as it stands. If the cap's going to be around 195, and they could get up all the way to like 72 million if they cut Rowe, if they move off of DDP and stuff like that. So,
right.
I don't know.
72 buys you a lot, right?
Yeah. And I mean, like here now we're at this point. Would you go and bring in Malik Hooker?
like I said, I think Malik Hooker is more natural. And again, who knows what his plans are for Malik Hooker? Like I do know his specialty, Coach Flo, is the secondary. And I do know that Bobby McCain, Eric Rowe, look at Xavier Howard, look at Byron Jones, look at our slot corners. Like he's getting the most production out of all this because he knows he has a great understanding for the secondary. So I trust him completely what he does with secondary, how he shuffles the guys, who he brings in, who he takes out. I think it's going to put the team in the best situation to win short term and long term because it is a 17-game season, right? Like injuries are going to happen 1,000%.
Yeah. And we don't have a ton of depth, right? It's crazy. We talked about after the draft about adding Javon Holland. We have depth back there now. You had Eric Rowe and then Brandon Jones waiting in the wing, and then you had Bobby McCain at single high, and you could use Javon Holland there. Now it's like, Clean Fledgling still on the roster. We got to get off that. So, J-Love, what are you thinking about the Bobby McCain release, bro?
Yeah, I'm just a little confused. I mean, you called it out once again. Shout out to your reason. I know I'm being a little negative here, but I hope Grant is next. Oh God, I hope Grant is next. I don't know why he's not gone yet. But my question to you is, what is the plan now for what they're going to do for that position? Are you think they're going to force Holland out there day one?
I think if Hooker gets signed, Hooker's going to be your starting free safety.
Oh, okay. Well, do you see that as a good?
I heard a joke. You know how Hooker came in for his little visit? That's the first. that's the first time a Hooker left Miami without getting paid.
That's funny. Yeah, I was thinking of something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my main question. So yeah,
I think Grant will get cut post June 1st because it's an extra $1.2 million cap savings if he gets cut, and it's like a little over $5 million total.
Oh, okay. So we're still a long way to go.
Yeah. So what we got? Just under a month?
I think 3.5 weeks, really.
Yeah. Look, and guys, you can now make a play for a running back.
Yes, at a good price also.
Like you could literally go sign Malik Hooker on a prove-it-year deal, and then you could try to win that because Kerryon Johnson's on waivers. So you could put in a claim, see if you're going to get him. We should know by tonight if anyone put a claim in. Or if not, you could go sign AP on the cheap.
Yeah. The one thing that no one's talking about, but I'm super stoked, and we need to bring it up, is our special teams, man. Like, just look at the individuals that are going to be playing there. Jevon Holland, okay? Igbenogany. You're talking about Brendan Jones. Then you're talking about, our linebacking crew like the Van Ginkels and I forgot the white kid who was out last year. The linebacker that was out last year because Beagle, right? Then you're talking about obviously Jalen Waddle returning, right? And he better be returning. Like we want to get as much out of Jalen Waddle as possible. I don't want him just to be a starter, and he has to be in special teams 1,000%. Obviously, we got the kicker. We'll hope the punter, holds up for a 17-game season and not fade in the end like last year. And then we still have other individuals. Hollins is a tremendous special teams player. That's why they brought him in. They don't want him to be a receiver, but for special teams. And special teams is literally 1/3 of the – I mean, it's not 1/3, but it's so pivotal. It just changes everything, and it goes unnoticed. But I'm stoked about our special teams personnel and the talent that we have over there.
Yeah, you can consider it 1/3. I mean, you can win and lose games by special teams also. So yeah, I back you up on that. It's 1/3.
Look at the Raiders game.
Look, yeah, Buffalo, that was a game changer once we allowed the return and we couldn't get the punt. Like, everything was happening against us on special teams. The punt ended up on our 1-yard line. Then we allowed a return. Like, they made 21 points because of the return of the punt. Like, it matters, man.
Yeah. Because What was the game before the Raiders game?
We played New
The
England.
Patriots game. New
Was it
England.
New England?
Yeah, and then Kansas
Yeah.
City we screwed up again, right? With the
'Cause didn't we have a game? It was the Raiders game and either the game before or the game after where we allowed two kick or punt return touchdowns in a row.
It was Kansas City, right? Like they destroyed us.
The Kansas City game.
Yeah, and like when was the last time we'd ever done something like that?
Yeah, our special teams started playing really poorly at the last 3 games of the season, or the last month of the season, right?
And it was solid before that, right?
Right. And that's because of the depth, but that was also because of everything. Like our punter died out, we were missing field goals, right? That became a problem. And then the return was not there, right? I mean, Noah Benogany is not a pure, like he's now Jalen Waddle returning. He can be a special teams blocker or a tackler, but he's not going to be that elite returner like Jalen Waddle. It's going to change everything for us special teams this year. We're going to have from kicking, from punting, from blocking, from tackling perspective, from Jalen Waddle's perspective. It's going to be it's getting on notice now, but it's going to be a pillar to our success.
Would you use Waddle or would you do what I said? Use Foster first. See what you're going to get out of Foster, because I just worry about getting your main asset injured on a kick return or a punt return.
I just feel like Waddle, he has so much value, right? That's why you drafted him at number 6.
Yep.
And I don't think you can play scared, man. And even though he did get injured in that return, right? And I think Nick Saban was so pissed off, like the first thing he said, that's why you don't return 10 yards deep, right? And he got in so much shit for saying that. But it's like I don't think you can be scared playing Waddle, because he's as electrifying as it gets. He's Hester 0.2, right? So
because I don't see a role for Robert Foster unless you're going to use him on special teams.
Yeah, I think they're going to have open competition for those, and I honestly believe that because it's 55-man rosters, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not right. I honestly believe they're going to carry at least 8 wide receivers, not 6, 8 into the regular season. And Foster's going to have an open competition with those last 3 spots, because 5 are fixed in, and then the last 3 are going to be like, who's the better man, right? In the preseason and whatnot.
Sharif, what's going on, bro?
Hey, how you doing, Reason? How you guys doing?
Good, man. Good.
Hey, man. Shout out. I'm getting better at this too, because and the Reason's last broadcast we talked about McCain either being on the cut market or trade market. They probably tried to get something for him, didn't. And I just see Holland as a new kind of breed safety. I see Holland just he's a return man too, so I would kick him in return, because he's not just gonna he's gonna earn that spot right at free safety. So I would put him there. That way he gets his snaps.
Oh, you want Holland at kick return?
Yeah, and punt return. That way he gets his snaps while he earns a spot at the free safety.
That's nice.
Bro, I think he's going to be starting at free safety.
Yeah.
Even Cam Wolf said out today that's the vibe he's getting, that Holland's going to be starting there. Now, if we go and sign Malik Hooker, then it's a clear competition.
Right. And then
So,
also,
I think one way or another they have to get depth, because it's Fedulum. If Fedulum is the 4th safety we have, we're basically like one injury away from being completely thin, because he's not serviceable anywhere in the secondary, right? Yeah. And he's for special teams. You're not paying $2 million. Like the other guy that we paid 2-point-something million now, the tight end that we got out of Cincinnati, that guy's going to be deployed in special teams all the time. Right. He's going to be deployed in special teams all the time, but he's also going to be a fullback. He's also going to be part of that offense. Fedulum is never going to be on the defense. Like, unless the game is over, like, so
And
it's waste of money.
what I'm noticing too is that how Greer and Floyd transitions on to the new era and how they transition off of the old era. You have to notice that type of stuff. If you're gonna say let's just put someone off of the free agents, not that we don't do that. This is them transitioning into the new era. That's just them. And so I saw this comment. What the hell is Bobby McCain is hurting his shoulder every 3 hits down in the box. I said this last stream. Every 3 hits, he's done.
Can I ask you guys a question? Who are the 7 wide receivers you guys think we would keep on the roster? And to piggyback from the previous one, do you guys think they'll put Albert Wilson on kickoff returns if they do keep him on the roster? Would you be comfortable with that?
So I would roll my 7 that I would roll with is DVP, Preston, Waddle, Fuller, Albert Wilson, Lynn Bowden, and then I want to see what Kirk Merritt has.
I forgot about Lynn Bowden too on kickoff returns.
And if Kirk Merritt isn't good enough, then you put Foster's at 7th, and I would have him be my return guy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are like, everyone keeps saying, don't forget about Robert Foster. I haven't forgot about the guy, but the guy gets hurt literally every year you go back to college.
And that's why,
that's
why I bring up that they will carry, because of the extended rosters, they will carry more than the traditional 6. They will carry 8 at the very least. They will, and I think Hollins is going to be part of that 8 because of the special teams play. Right? This guy is a tremendous blocker when you're returning.
Oh yeah,
punts.
Matt Collins. Yeah, he is.
No, he is, man. He set up.
He's a gunner, right? He's a gunner.
He is. He set up the Gaskin touchdown in Vegas, right? He that escape route. He set up the key block. Like, he's a tremendous.
Bro, and remember they lined him up as a tight end a couple snaps too, and he caught some passes.
Right. So I think that's why they brought him in. I don't think it was mainly for being a wide receiver. They literally want their special teams to be elite. They believe in having a complete team, man. They know how to structure it right.
Yeah. Love it. I love it.
I wanted to ask you. Go ahead.
No. You can go ahead. What I was just gonna say.
I wanted to ask reason about the single high. I see a lot of baseball center field catches for Holland because I think he's that prolific more than McCain. So when teams try to say, "Oh, let's just try to go deep," Holland's gonna just center field catch that interception. What do you think about that reason?
Yeah, I think they're in a position right now, unless they sign someone. Who else? Brandon Jones can't play there. Eric Rowe can't play there. You don't have another choice.
Right. I think in that single high, he's prolific to see where the ball is going, and he's just going to center field catch a lot of interceptions for me. Because I think Bobby can move his hips, but Bobby is angle and maybe is being afraid to contact. I don't think he couldn't get there, because single high makes you in the center field for interceptions, and if you know how to play it, you can get a lot of interceptions center field like in a single high.
Well, Holland's way better. Like, his aptitude's higher and his instincts are higher, right? So he can read plays before they happen, and he can anticipate, the angle to take on balls way better than McCain can.
Yeah.
Well, see, Bobby McCain came into the league as a 4th rounder or 5th round. Like, he was not a top 3. He wasn't in the top 3 rounds, right? Javon Holland, he's the 36th pick overall, man. Like, obviously, just coming out of college, these guys are thought of way higher, right? Obviously, he's going to develop him, but Javon Holland. You cannot just draft someone 36 overall and just not participate in this defense, in the special teams at a high level. Like, they want their first round. You can't just keep on having Noah Benogany's, because it's a waste. It's a complete waste. So that's why they made these moves right now. Like, they want to upgrade positions. If we're not going to get the running back we wanted, we're at least going to upgrade the position. And if we're upgrading the position, we're not going to have $7 million of dead cap. And I think maybe they approached McCain and told McCain, I don't even know if they want McCain on the team from a perspective of productivity. But if they did, they probably approached him and said, "Hey, you want to take a discount and play for us at a minimum?" He probably was like, "No, I'll test the free agency market." You never know what kind of conversations they have on the back end, right? But
yeah. I know you just joined, RJ, but I'm actually going to go through. I'm going to get some final thoughts here because I was only going to go live for an hour. I got to go get some lunch. So I'll start with you, RJ. Give us your thoughts and anything that's on your mind right now.
Yeah, cool. So for me, losing McCain kind of felt a little bit like losing Jarvis. Like, you knew that guy wasn't worth the money he was going to demand, but he was a fan favorite that you loved. And I mean, I think Jarvis is probably a little better, but that's why it kind of bittersweet today. But I love that they're constantly looking to improve, and that's how you make a great team. You know, you keep guys like that because he's all right, but then that's how you stay all right. So looking to constantly improve positions is, I think, the right direction that they're doing, and I'm stoked about it.
I agree with that. RG, let's get your final thoughts, buddy.
Yeah, all in all, right now, I don't think this is the last move. I think they're going to be making moves all throughout the offseason leading up into the preseason games, right? Because who knows what's going to happen, who's going to be released, and, you know, injury concerns and all that. But I just feel that special teams and the depth that we have overall in this team, the flexibility that we're going to have moving into week 1 of this regular season is unparalleled compared to what we had the last 2 years, man. Like, we are really creating a beautiful structure here with all the depth and the talent that we're accumulating. So I love it.
J-Love, let's get your final thoughts, buddy.
Oh, I want to give a shout out, Preston Williams. Listen, he might be the X factor on this offense that can really, really, really make this whole offense elite. Hopefully that he could stay healthy and continue from where he started. And another thing, I just want to the Patreon, please. I know Reason's probably gonna get mad. Patreon, if you have not subscribed yet, I highly, 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 highly recommend it. Support the channel and shout out to Reason, and thank you for everything you've done for us for the off season, brother. I ain't getting it like that before.
Ditto. All right, RJ, I'll give you another chance again. I'll give you final thoughts, buddy, because you only had a chance to get in some of your thoughts.
Okay, cool. You know, a thought on the running back position. I know it feels like there's a massive void there, but I'm kind of curious to see what they're doing there. Like, I don't know if you guys remember the movie Moneyball, but like the way that they were trying to like use some metrics to try to kind of recreate these huge players that they lost. And it feels like maybe the Dolphins are taking that approach, that committee approach. You know, if we were to get a trade for a guy like Kareem Hunt, we would think, you know, that's an amazing signing. That should be the guy we should get. But if you look at it, with the number 1 offensive line in football, the Cleveland Browns, the Dolphins are ranked 25th. I think Kareem Hunt averaged 4.2 yards a carry, and Myles Gaskin averaged 4.1. So if you look at it from like a productivity standpoint and what these guys are able to achieve, I think that what they're trying to do is build enough guys with similar production to recreate one of those guys. That's assuming that they don't, you know, just end up trying to make one of the big moves. So I think it's an interesting approach, and let's see if it pans out for them.
Sharif, your final thoughts, bro.
Look for Nick Needham to slide the free safety competition because we got too much talented corners that can play his role now. So I think Nick Needham's going to get a shot at free safety. I like his hitting. I really do. And yeah, fins up.
Crypto, let's get your final thoughts.
Yeah, good show, Reason. I'm just thinking that overall, the pretty much Flores and Greer has the Rolodex approach. They kind of go to the next card up, you know, in the back of their mind for upgrading the team. So that's good in that aspect. You know, that they always looking to improve the team, which is good because you got to stay competitive all the time, 100% of the time. So, you know, I think they're getting it done. Our secondary is going to be real good. It's going to be real deep.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest, strongest point. You know, they always looking to, you know, upgrade the secondary because they build it from the outside in.
Yep. All right, guys. I will be back tomorrow night with the prospect preview of Jalen Waddle, and I'll go over that. But until then, guys, fins up all day, every day. Have a good day, everyone. And I'll
Fins up. Have a good day, guys.
Have a good